Hello, my name is Pasquale Mingarelli, and you could call me Pat. The first thing I want to do is thank Douglas and the Mustard Seed Initiative for giving me the opportunity to make this video and to take it to you and to get my message out. And I would encourage you to continue to follow that ministry because Douglas, he has a great heart for God, and the ministry is doing great things to reach out to people just like you. Now me, I'm a wildlife photographer, and I'm here in the hills of Fontenelle Forest, Nebraska. Yes, I said hills, forest, and Nebraska, all in one sentence. And sometimes we need to expand our vision of geography. And sometimes we need to expand the vision God's given us in our life. Now me, I first got fascinated with photography when I was a child. And I always wanted to take pictures, 7, 8, 9 years old. I was fascinated by this concept of you've preserved this moment in time forever. And my mother at a family party would take out her camera and I'd ask, can I take the picture? But she wouldn't let me take it. She wanted to make sure she got it right because, you know, it wasn't the digital age yet. And then I want my own camera. And she said, no, you'd have to need money for film and processing and things like that. Well, finally I got a paper route, and my sister got me a camera for my birthday one year. And I still have that camera, and I'm going to show it to you guys. And some of you remember this, and some of you think, what does he have in his hand? Look at this little camera right here. You know, I used to put the flash on here. It was a stack. You'd flip it over, do the other side. And I would take this camera and try to get good pictures with it, maybe in nature or even action shots. But you know what? It wasn't possible to get a good picture with this camera because there's no way to control exposure or focus, and the negative's really small. But I went out and I tried because that was what's on my heart to do. And then eventually I moved up in the world and I got a better camera. Hey, look at this, right? It had a sliding telephoto lens and it had a built-in flash. How cool was that, right? This was awesome. I had this camera, and again, I'd go out there and taking pictures of nature. And at that same time in my life, I was getting wildlife and nature books and magazines and things like that. And I was just like, I wanted to be a wildlife photographer. So when I was a senior in high school, I got my first real 35mm camera, and I took a class in high school as well, and I thought, yeah, this is definitely what I wanted to do. So I went to a 2-year art school, learned a lot about composition and lighting, but I didn't learn much in the way of how do I make money with photography, right? Doing that. And so I went to school for 2.5 more years at a 4-year school to learn photojournalism, which is news photography, and I worked for a newspaper out of college. And then when I was in college, I got a vision for my life to serve God and to worship Him with my photography. Well, after working for the newspaper for just a short time, I applied to work for a magazine, a Christian magazine called Worldwide Challenge. And it's published by a ministry called Crew. At that time, when I did it, was called Campus Crusade for Christ. And so I began working with them, and they would send me around the country and around the world to photograph God's work for this magazine, Worldwide Challenge. And when I was on assignments for the magazine, I would find sometimes I'd have a day in the middle of the long assignment that was free, and I would find myself going off to a state park. Or sometimes I would extend the trips by 2 days for my own time to go off to a state park or national park or to do some hiking, because that was what was building it with me. And I had a group of friends in a Bible study, and we would do a lot of hiking together and backpacking, and I would take pictures. And eventually I left Campus Crusade or Crew to celebrate God as creator through photography. And I started something called Wild Heart Photography and had my vision, but you know, it just didn't go the way I wanted to go all the time. And one thing I was doing was spending a lot of time outside, photographing God's creation or having a journal and my Bible with me and thinking about what He's created. And I realized that God speaks to us through His creation. And the creation speaks to us about God. So I started a ministry called The Creation Speaks. And The Creation Speaks explores how what nature declares to our heart, soul, and mind about God. It examines how when we spend time in the outside and in nature and we study it and we enjoy it and we think about God in it, we can grow in our knowledge and worship of Him. There's so much that God's creation can tell us about Him, and that's the focus of my ministry. You know, the Bible tells us that the heavens declare the glory of the Lord in Psalm 19, and Romans 1 talks about Creation reveals God's attributes. But how could we see these things if we don't get outside? So my ministry encourages people to get outside, and the website is thecreationspeaks.com. Thecreationspeaks.com, and I would encourage you to go there and check it out. And I would love to have the opportunity to come to your church and to share this message about all the things creation can tell us about God, about his attributes, and about why do we think something is beautiful, and what does that tell us about God, and what does that tell us about ourselves, and how we're made in the image of God, and how creation could bring us to a place of worship, and worship from our hearts, just because we could see and we could stand in awe of the things God has created, and we worship the Creator. So I'd love to have this opportunity to share it with your church, and you can go to my website and check out things there. And I have another part of my ministry that you can visit every day. It's called the Visual Verse of the Day. And that website is visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com. visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com. And you can visit that website and check that out. And what that is, it's a photo of God's creation that I've taken and a passage combined with a passage from his word every day. So it's God's creation and it's God's word every day. And the Facebook page for this has almost 800,000 likes. People around the world being ministered through God's word and his creation through this ministry. And it just blows me away that God uses me to do that. And there's people who just comment, and the comments on the page are just awesome. But I would encourage you to go to the website, not to the Facebook page, to the website, because like I said, there's 800,000 people, almost 800,000 who have liked the page, but only less than 10% of them see the picture every day because Facebook doesn't put it in their news feed. But if you go to the page, again, it's visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com, and you bookmark that page on your computer or make it your home page for your web browser, you can see that every day. You can visit and be encouraged, because the purpose of the page is to inspire and encourage people in their daily walk with God. So I would really encourage you to do that. And I don't know what God is taking this, what he's going to do with this page. But my vision is to have, 800,000, 1 million people coming to the page every day, not through Facebook, but right to it, to be ministered by God. I also have a blog on that site. I blog, I write about, encountering God in his creation. I blog about what creation can tell us about God and things like that. And I have endless ideas for blogs. I just don't have time to do them because I have another job and a work I have to do and things like that. And currently, I can use your prayers because I'm looking for another job. And I just needed to meet my family's needs, and I want to know how I could balance this ministry in with working and things like that, so I could appreciate your prayers for that. And like I said, I don't know where God's going to take this or where this vision is going, but God's got a vision for your life too. He's got something for you as well. Now, I don't know what that is, but you know what that is. Well, you may not know what it is either, but God knows what it is. And you could seek him out, because you know what? Your vision for your life may be this right here. It may be something like this. But God's vision for your life, maybe it's this. Right? So why would we want to settle for this when we could settle for this? So my prayer is for you that you would discover God's vision for your life and use the talents the gifts he's given you to honor and glorify him. And I would also ask you to pray for me and my ministry and for my family, that I continue doing this, and that God would expand it to touch 1 million people a day through his word and his creation. So thanks, and I also want to again thank Douglas for giving me the opportunity to speak with all you here today, and continue to follow him, continue to pray for his ministry. And God bless you, and take care.